All offseason, we've been told the Bears have just two options at quarterback. That is either one, trade Justin Fields and draft Caleb Williams, or number two, keep Fields and trade the number one overall pick. I don't have a third option for the Bears that I think is the best plan moving forward for them. Here's what I would do if I was Ryan Poles. I would trade Justin Fields. I would also call up the Buffalo Bills, offer the number 1 and number 9 overall pick for Josh Allen. That's right. If I'm Ryan Poles, I'm making a power play move right now and trying to land myself a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. And if I was Brandon Beane, the Bills GM, on the other end of that phone call, hello? Oh, you want to give me the number 1 and number 9 overall pick for Josh Allen? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Ryan, let's make a deal. I think this makes sense for both sides, the Bears and the Bills. This is the true epitome of a win-win. Bears get Josh Allen, Bills get Caleb Williams and another top 10 pick. This is absolutely what should go down right now for both organizations. This is the best move for both. I know you're probably thinking I'm crazy. Ryan, you idiot. Why would anyone do that? Why would the Bills do that? Why would the Bears do that? Well, let me explain. Let me take you inside the mind right now and try to explain to you. I think this makes a lot of sense and see if you do agree. Let's look at it first from the Buffalo perspective. Right? I think right now, first and foremost, as we sit here in late February, we have to call the Buffalo Bills what they are. They are not a Super Bowl caliber team. They're not. We just watched them the last time they were out on their home field lose to the Chiefs, in which it was a year in which the Chiefs had the worst offense around Patrick Mahomes. But it's not just losing to the Chiefs again in the postseason, why I'm sitting here calling the Bills not Super Bowl contenders. It's also the fact that look at their last 2 wins. Look at their last 2 playoff wins they got against the Steelers, in which they almost blew a 21-point lead to Mason Rudolph. And then last year against the Dolphins, they were lucky to escape that win at home against a third-string quarterback, Skylar Thompson. So it's not just like the Buffalo Bills have a Kansas City Chiefs problem where they could beat everybody else except for the Chiefs in the playoffs. That's not the case because they are struggling against the AFC's weakest playoff teams now for the last few years. They are not a Super Bowl caliber team. First and foremost, that's how the Bills should be viewed going to 2024. Part of that is because they need a lot of upgrades. Like you look at this team and you say, well, Ryan, what can they do then to improve this offseason to be a Super Bowl caliber team, to be in that conversation? Well, I would say then they need upgrades just for starters at wide receiver. Who knows if Stephon Diggs, that number 1 wide receiver that he displayed a few years ago, 2020, 2021, even parts of 2022, who knows if that's ever coming back? What we saw last year, the second half of last season was just scary with how irrelevant he was, how much of a non-factor he was on the field. Wide receiver needs to be upgraded. The run game needs to be consistent. This is twofold. Right? We've been talking about the run game with Buffalo now for a while. Obviously, they need, I think, better running backs, especially between the tackles that can get 3 or 4 yards consistently, something they've struggled with. That also goes hand in hand with the offensive line. And the interior, guard 2 centers need to improve. So you look at the run game, both from a running back and an offensive line perspective, I think you can absolutely get improvements or need improvements in both areas in order to be considered a Super Bowl contender, because part of the reason why Buffalo right now is not gotten over the hump is the fact that their run game, every time they play in a big game, especially in the playoffs, it deserts them. That's a problem. That's got to improve. And then defensively, you look around, I mean, that entire defense, for the most part, is old and injured. So just for starters here, if you want to say, well, Ryan, how can the Bills get to a Super Bowl caliber team? They have to improve at wide receiver, running back, offensive line, and basically most of the defense. I mean, what else are we talking about here? That's a lot of areas this team needs to improve in. And by the way, they don't have any cash to do so. They are right now are dead last in terms of cap space in the NFL. 32 out of 32. I mean, even with the explosion in the cap that we learned that we got last week, where the cap is going up, a ton, the Bills right now are still $41 million over the cap. So it's like they got a lot of restructuring. They got a lot of guys they got to cut and move on from just to get cap compliant before you even think about upgrading this team. So it's like you look at the Bills right now and how they're constructed. Need upgrades at a lot of places. They have the quarterback, not much else around him, and no cap space to make improvements. This team is stuck. Not only are they stuck, you look at this team, their best chance to win a Super Bowl just passed them. I think their best shot was last year. At home, Chiefs in your building, couldn't get it done. So if you're the Bills, you're not Super Bowl contenders. Your future right now is bleak because you have no cap space to build around your quarterback. If you truly want to be a Super Bowl contending team, I think trading Josh Allen is the move. Because trading Josh Allen for the number 1 overall pick here does a few things. Number one, it allows you the opportunity here in trading him to the Bears specifically and getting the number 1 overall pick. It allows you to get a quarterback that could be as good or even better than Allen is right now. I mean, you look at the scouting reports for Caleb Williams, I'm all in on the hype. I think he is going to, honestly give Mahomes a run for his money in 5 years for being the best quarterback in the NFL. I am all in on Caleb Williams. I don't think he's going to turn out like Trevor Lawrence did with all the hype and so far, not a lot of production for it. I think he's the real deal. I think he's the real deal and is going to be an immediate superstar in the NFL. If you're the Bills, you get that opportunity right away to get that kind of quarterback on your team. You reset your timeline, by the way, because right now you are in a Super Bowl or bust mode. Even though you're not a Super Bowl caliber team, it is still right now in Buffalo, Josh Allen, Super Bowl or bust. Well, now you get a rookie quarterback in, your timeline resets. Now, all of a sudden, you're afforded maybe a year or two to reset your cap and now start to make improvements to your roster, but you really can't afford to do right now because every year you're going for it. And also, not to mention, you open up cap space. You move off of Josh Allen's massive contract and now start to dig your way out of the cap hell you're in. Yeah, you're going to have to eat some cap space with Josh Allen. He's a big-time deal, whether it's you want to spread it out post-June 1 or just kind of eat it mostly in 2024. I mean, you're going to have to eat some of it for Allen trading him. But a short-term cap hit, I think, is worth the long-term what you're going to get in one of the best quarterback prospects we've seen in the last 30 years in Caleb Williams. So I think from Buffalo, this makes all the sense in the world. Open up cap space, reset your timeline, and get one of, right now, I think the best young quarterbacks the NFL is going to see. Get him on your team. It's, to me, a win-win. It makes so much sense for Buffalo. And from the Bears' perspective, because I'm sitting here telling you, I think Caleb Williams is going to be the truth. I'm telling you, I think Caleb Williams can push in 5 years Patrick Mahomes to be the best quarterback in the NFL. Well, then you're probably thinking, well, Ryan, why wouldn't the Bears want that guy on their team? Just keep the pick and get a guy that could be the best quarterback in 5 years. You're saying, but here's the thing. If you're Ryan Poles, you need an absolute, I think. I think you need a certainty. I think Caleb Williams is going to be the truth. I think he's legit. No guarantee. Again, to reference Trevor Lawrence, right? That was a guy that was a can't-miss prospect. Best, and most polished quarterback coming out of college since Andrew Luck. And so far through 3 years, Trevor Lawrence has not lived up to it. He's not been very good. And so while the hype is there, we have seen plenty of quarterbacks not live up to it and struggle. And then you're kind of sitting there in a few years being like, what do we have? I think if you're Ryan Poles, with the history of the Bears in terms of never having a franchise quarterback, with, by the way, your job riding on this pick, right? If this pick flops, Poles is fired in 2 or 3 years. So his job is on the line right now in making this move. You need a certainty. I think Caleb Williams is going to be really damn good. He is not a certainty. Josh Allen is a certainty. He is a known commodity. You get one of 2, 3, 4 best quarterbacks in the league. And not only that, if this trade goes down tomorrow, let's say, Bills get the number 1 pick and the Bears get Josh Allen. Just like that, immediately, the Bears go into next season with the best quarterback in the conference. Just like that, overnight. You go from where you are right now to 2024, best quarterback in the conference. Right? Allen's better than Hurts, clearly better than Dak, better than Goff, Purdy, Stafford. You name it, we could go up and down the list here. He is the best quarterback in the NFC. Wouldn't you want that if you're the Bears? With your history of never getting the quarterback position right, wouldn't you want a certainty? I know I would. And so you have also pieces as well in the run game and the pass game to support Josh Allen. So it's not like he's, just him and nobody else. You have a good defense that played really well the second half of the year. You got DJ Moore. You got a good run game as well. Like, there are pieces in Chicago where they are, tomorrow, if this trade goes down, you're a playoff team. Instantaneously a playoff team, borderline favorite to win the division, and on a short list of teams to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Wouldn't you want that? Like, that's like the Bears have to realize, and Ryan Poles has to realize, you have the number one overall pick. This is the most powerful number one pick maybe since 2012 when the Colts drafted number one and had Andrew Luck. That's how many teams feel strongly about Caleb Williams. And we could sit here talking about, you could trade down to 2, trade down to 3, and mash draft picks. When you have the number one pick in a draft in which Caleb Williams is by head and shoulders the best quarterback prospect in this draft and one of the best quarterback prospects we've seen in 25 years, you got to go big fish hunting. You got to say, hold on, we could trade down and get more picks. We can also get ourselves a legit known commodity. That's what I would do. If I'm Ryan Poles, I call the Bills, offer number 1, number 9, 2 top 10 picks to Buffalo, get Josh Allen back. If you're the Bills, you also keep your own first-round picks. You got 3 first-round picks to help build around Caleb Williams, reset your timeline, get out of cap hell. This to me is a win-win. I think this is absolutely what should go down right now with the Bears having the number 1 overall pick. Trade Fields, trade the number 1 pick, get Josh Allen to your team. I think this is a total win-win. I want to hear your thoughts, though, because you may think I'm crazy. I want to hear why. If you disagree, if you think that is an awful move for Buffalo or Chicago, write in the comments. I'll chime in. If you're watching on YouTube, channel is obviously Ryan Hickey, but if you're listening right now to the podcast version of this, Hick at Night is where you can find that, Night spelled Nite. Tweet me at Ryan_Hickey and the number 3. I want to hear your thoughts and your reaction to my belief and my take here. But if you're on YouTube, just comment below. I'll jump in the comments as well and give you my thoughts. And we kind of go back and forth here and have a discussion because I'm really curious what you think here. This is an idea that I'm thinking about. I'm like, this makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. Very curious to hear your thoughts as well. Allen to the Bears, Caleb Williams to the Bills. Who says no?